out again. It's a rich.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my TBR for the month of August. This video is going to be going up probably like mid-month, so I definitely have started and finished a couple of these books, and so I'm just kind of going to go through what I've started, what I plan on reading, because I really do plan on getting through a lot during the month of August. This is kind of like my last free month. And so I have like a good amount of books here in my TBR for August. So if you're interested in seeing what I plan on reading during the month of August, keep on watching. Remember to thumbs up this video, drop a comment in the comment section below. What are you reading during the month of August? And also subscribe if you haven't already. So let's get right into this. I'm trying to get through a lot of books. I'm really like working my way through. I got a couple of new books. I pre-ordered a couple of books, picked up a good amount of books from my local library because they're doing curbside pickup. And so there's definitely a variety. So I'm gonna try to go through first what I'm already reading and then what I plan on reading for the rest of the month. So the first book is The Black Kids. I pre-ordered this book from my local independent bookstore. It just came out on August 4th, I think. And this book is about a girl who, she's very privileged. She's Black, she's raised in like a sort of affluent community, a very white community. And this is also during the time of Rodney King, during the 90s, and the incident of police brutality and everything that was going on during that time. And so Ashley is kind of like blissfully unaware of a lot of the things that are going on around her. Issues of race, her friends are all white and she's the Black friend. She has a sister who is kind of like seen as like the failure in the family, who's like very like militant and conscious of what's going on around her. And there's just a lot of moving pieces that are going on in Ashley's life. And so she sort of has to come to like a reckoning with the fact that she is Black and that there are a lot of racial issues that exist around her. And so I've started this book and I'm currently on page 78. If you can tell, I've taken a lot of notes, and I don't want to slander this book, but it's definitely, I'm working my way through it. And so I'll probably give I'll give a full review of this book when I finish it. I'm thinking about switching to an audiobook so that I can like push my way through it, because I'm not necessarily enjoying it right now. I have complicated feelings about this book. But let me know, have you started The Black Kids? Has anybody picked up this book? Let me know your thoughts. Red at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson. This is a book that I just did a book review of actually on my channel. So if you want to see my thoughts on this book, check that out. It'll probably be linked in like the cards somewhere around here. But I picked up this book and I finished it in like 2 days. It was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. It's about this girl, Melody, and she is 16 years old. And the book sort of begins on her 16th birthday when she is coming down the steps to sort of present herself to her family. And we're sort of like taken back to all of the events leading up to her 16th birthday from the perspective of her mother, father, and both of her grandparents. And there's just a lot of interesting issues that are tackled in this book. Race, gender, class, parenthood. It's overall a really great book, and I finished this very quickly right at the beginning of the month of August, so definitely check this out. I picked this up from my library, Salvage the Bones by Jesmyn Ward. I read Sing Unburied Sing earlier this year, or was it the end of last year? Not 100% sure, but Sing Unburied Sing was phenomenal. I picked up another Jesmyn Ward book, but I didn't finish it. It was sort of like a collection of essays, but I really love her fiction work. Salvage the Bones follows a working class Black family in 2005 as they prepare for Hurricane Katrina, and I'm super excited to get into this book. This will definitely be the next book that I plan on reading after I finish a James Baldwin novel, which I will get to in 1 second. So I have kind of been on a James Baldwin kick lately. I've been trying to read a lot of his works. Besides Notes of a Native Son, I've also, well, I finished, by the time this video is uploaded, finished If Beale Street Could Talk. This was turned into a movie, which was phenomenally done, sticks very closely to the story. If Beale Street Could Talk is essentially about a couple, Tish and Fonnie is accused of raping a woman, and this all happens while Tish finds out that she is pregnant, and so Fonnie is falsely accused, and it's sort of the job of these two families to come together and prove that Fonnie is innocent. It also goes through a lot of like their family issues, flashbacks to their relationship, how it began, and it's just a really wonderful novel, beautifully written by James Baldwin, and it's a short read too. It's only 197 pages, so you can get through this very quickly. It's a smooth read, so I definitely would recommend it. Another James Baldwin novel that I'm currently reading is Another Country, and this tackles a lot of different issues. It takes place in Greenwich Village in Harlem, and it's just really good so far, and I think I'm going to finish it over the next couple of days, but I really would recommend that everybody check out everything that James Baldwin has written, because he really will get you together. Something a little bit different. I really am not the type of person that usually gets into romance novels, but I picked up Red, White, and Royal Blue from my local library, and this is a romance novel about the first son of the United States and the Prince of England. They are like rivals turned lovers, and it's just such a fun novel, something that is easy reading, and it's something that it's not going to really be like super weighty compared to some of the other things that I've been reading a lot lately and a lot of things that are happening in the news and stuff. So it's a very light read, but it also does tackle like a couple of political topics. Things are discussed in a very lighthearted manner, so I really appreciate this, and I finished it in a couple of days, and I will definitely give a full review in my reading wrap up for the month of August. The two nonfiction books that I have read, or that I am in the process of reading, I finished one already and I have not finished the other. Eloquent Rage by Brittany Cooper. Finished it, took a lot of notes. Phenomenal book. This is a collection of essays. It's about a Black feminist who discovers her superpowers, tackles a lot of really great topics surrounding religion, politics, Beyonce, academia. And I really appreciate the way that Brittany Cooper sort of like is very open and honest about all the topics that she talks about. And I honestly would just recommend this book for everybody. And then another, I probably should have put this along with the other Baldwin books that I'm reading, but James Baldwin, Notes of a Native Son. It is a collection of essays by James Baldwin. It's definitely considered a classic in my eyes and in a lot of others. It's just James Baldwin just talking about a lot of things that are very important to him and that currently still hold a lot of weight in our lives. So Notes of a Native. So in like the fantasy realm of things, I did pick up Black Leopard, Red Wolf. I have a friend who kept recommending that I read this book, and so I was like, I'll finally get it, and I picked it up from my local library, and it's hard to really explain exactly what this is really about. Essentially, there is this tracker that is trying to find this boy that has gone missing, and Tracker eventually links up with a bunch of different people over the course of them tracking down this boy that has disappeared. It sort of blends African history, storytelling, and mythology together, and it's interesting so far. I started reading it, I got about a chapter in, and I know that my friend actually didn't finish this book, which I was also like, if you didn't finish it, then why should I get it? But I picked it up anyways, so I'll let everybody know my thoughts if I finish this book. I've heard a lot of people talking about The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. Poet X is a novel that is written in verse. It's about a young girl who is a slam poet, and it's literally just like all poetry. I'm super excited to read this. I read another book that was also written in verse, Make Lemonade. I haven't read a lot of novels like this, but I'm super excited to check this out. And then this is the second to last book that I have on my TBR. It's called Anger is a Gift. Anger is a Gift. It tackles the idea of policing in schools and sort of how it is harmful to children. It's about a young boy who loses his father, and then he sort of has to face this trauma again. He loses his father to police brutality, and sort of he has to face this trauma once again when he returns to school, and they have added security to the school building. I'm somebody that I literally grew up my whole life with metal detectors and security in schools, so I know that I'll be able to relate to this book. This is a YA novel, and so I'm super excited to read it. And then I'm actually mistaken, I have 2 more books after this one. So Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. People talk about it all the time. I have never read it. Journeys from the deep south to the streets and basements of Harlem, from a horrifying battle royale where black men are reduced to fighting animals, to a communist rally where they are elevated to the status of trophies, Ralph Ellison's nameless protagonist ushers readers into a parallel universe that throws our own into harsh and even hilarious relief. Suspenseful and sardonic, narrated in a voice that takes in the symphonic range of the American language, black and white, Invisible Man is one of the most audacious and dazzling novels of our time. Super excited to read this. I will give a full review for this novel when I finish it. 2 that I have left. One, kind of iffy about because I've heard reviews. Colson Whitehead, he's gotten a lot of hype over the past couple of years, and The Underground Railroad. So I've heard reviews about this book. I try not to give reviews that I see, especially on social media, a lot of weight before I actually read it myself. And so I am going to read The Underground Railroad. I know I'm late. I'm probably the last person in the world to read and mention this book, but I'm excited. Last but not least, this is a YA novel that I have always heard people talk about. And this is another thing. I'm really trying to read all of the books that I have never picked up that get a lot of reviews, that are used a lot in classrooms. And this is a YA novel? The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie. I've heard so much about this. And so it's finally time for me to actually read it. And so hopefully I get to it before the end of this month. If not, I'll hold on to it a little bit longer. I got this from my local library. So I'm excited. And so those are all the books that I plan on reading during the month of August. That is my TBR. Some I've started, some I really hope that I get to. But overall, I'm just very happy that I do have so many books to be able to choose from and read. Let me know what you're reading in the comment section below. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And always remember that you are loved.